I'm Adrian Ferguson, instructor at the Jamaica German Automotive School. In this video, we will look on what it entails in servicing the brake system. You will learn how to remove, check, and replace disc pads. This is one of the areas covered in Motor Vehicle Repairs Level 2. After viewing this video, you will be able to select and fit safety gears correctly, identify the correct tools for the job, diagnose the cause for a disc pad replacement, select the correct disc pads, prepare the disc pads for installation, and replace disc pad to wheel assembly. The safety gears that are needed in performing this task is your lab coat, which is basically used to protect your underclothing, your shoes, which is used to protect your feet from any falling object, and your dust mask that is needed to prevent dust from entering the body. To effectively remove the brake caliper from the wheel assembly, you need a simple socket set. And from this socket set, we'll be using a ratchet handle, a 10mm socket, along with a 14mm socket. In addition, we will need a brake cleaner for inspection purpose and a 40 or 80 grade sandpaper for preparation of the brake disc pad. The customer complained of noise coming from the brake area. What you would do from this stage is to perform a drive test to confirm that this noise is coming from the brake area. After performing this drive test, we will elevate our vehicle, whether we're using a 2-post lift or a hydraulic floor jack. Then we will remove the wheel. Now, upon removing the wheel, to put it in the safest possible place is to basically rest it beneath the vehicle under its running board. To ensure that we don't lose our lug nuts, it's best to place it back on the stud. As a quick review as it relates to some of the basic parts of the brake system, we have here our disc rotor. We have our caliper. Within the caliper, we have our disc pads. There's two, one on this side, one on the inner part. Then we have our brake hose, which is right here, which is attached to our brake line. We will inspect all these areas to see if there is any fault that may cause that squeaking noise that we're basically looking for. We will be cleaning off the brake assembly, and then we'll be inspecting for any form of unusual wear or any unusual mark within the face of our rotor. So for safety purpose, get the face mask on, and then we're gonna do our cleaning. Now, after cleaning off the surface, then you can do your visual inspection. So you will check the condition of the rotor surface. Now here, based on what we're seeing, is that our rotor is in perfect condition. So what we will do from here is to basically remove our caliper to inspect our brake lining. So here I have my ratchet handle and my 40mm socket. So here removing the bolt, which is the lower bolt, from the caliper, so we can swing the caliper up to remove our disc pad. What we want to do from here is to remove any additional accessory that will prevent the caliper from swinging. So here we have a 10mm bolt that holds the brake hose. So we're going to remove this 10mm bolt with our socket. Now we can safely swing our caliper up in order to remove our disc pad. On this disc pad, we have the brake lining. Now, on the brake lining, we have a slot that runs diagonally through the disc pad. This slot is there for wearing purpose. Now, the moment you have removed the disc pad from the wheel assembly and you do your inspection and this slot is no longer visible, it is time for the disc pad to change. In addition to the slot that is there, we have a wear indicator, which is right here. And this wear indicator will come in contact with the rotor and also give you a squeaking noise saying that this is time for the disc pad to be changed.
Let's review what we have done so far. To repair the brake system, you will need the following: overall or lab coat, hard boot, dust mask, socket set, and sandpaper. To diagnose that there is a problem with the disc pads, usually a customer comes in and complains about a squeaky noise coming from the wheel. To confirm that there is a problem, a drive test should be performed. Then elevate the vehicle, remove the wheel, and perform a visual inspection of the brake and its assembly.
When we collect or get the new disc pad from the parts store, it is best for us to compare the one that is being removed to the new one that's going to be installed in terms of its shape, in terms of brake lining. Okay? Now you will match the previous one with the new one. Ensure that they are of equal size. After the comparison, what you will do is to get the surface prepared for driving condition. This is done by basically getting our brake lining in contact with our sandpaper. We get our sandpaper on a flat surface, and with our disc pad, we just slide it across just to get the surface prepared for driving condition. So now that our brake lining and this pad is now ready, we can commence with the installation. Here we have what are known as anti-rattles, and what these basically do is to prevent the disc pad from experiencing excessive vibration during driving. Now these anti-rattles carry slots, one for the lower area and one for the upper area. What you want to do is to ensure that these sections of the disc pad is in those slots. So our inner disc pad is in, and our outer, same process. Now after we have done that, I will ensure that it is seated properly, then we can move our caliper down. So install our 40mm bolt back into its original position. Now what you want to do is to start the threading of the bolt by hand, not with a tool. This is done to prevent any form of cross-threading of your bolt entering. So now that we're in, we want to install our 10mm bolt that we removed earlier. With our 14mm socket, we tighten our 40mm bolt back into its original place. Now, after we have done that, we'll perform our inspection, ensure that everything is in place. Alright, so basically we have just completed our installation of the disc pad. Now what we want to do is to install our wheel. So with the vehicle in the here, we basically untie them as much as possible, and when the vehicle is on the ground, then we do our final tightening.
Now that we have come to the end of this video, take this little quiz and see how well you will do. Question 1. Name the parts of the brake system. Disc rotor, brake caliper, disc pads, brake hose, and the brake line. Question 2. What is the first step in diagnosing that there is a problem with the disc pads? Customer complains about a squeaking noise coming from the wheel. Question 3. What are the steps involved in removing the disc pads? First, elevate the vehicle and then remove the wheel. Remove the lower bolt on the caliper, then remove the 10mm bolt that holds the brake hose. Swing the brake caliper up and remove the disc pads. Question 4. How do you prepare the disc pads for installation? Rub the surface on sandpaper. Question 5. How do you confirm that the brake system is fixed? By performing a drive test.
Thanks for viewing this video on how to service the brake system. I hope you have learned the correct procedure in removing, checking and replacing the disc pads.